When his girlfriend is kidnapped by an aging supervillain, Noah and his roommate Cody must unite a team of unorthodox superpowered citizens to not only rescue the girl, but stop the villain's plans of world domination. In Nobody's Hero, the latest novel from your boy Crypto Comics and the Lost Library. Available right now in digital and print form on Amazon.com.
Hello, all you beautiful people in Webtown, and welcome back to Crypto Comics' journey through the reign of the Supermen from DC. And you know today's video is going to be great because it's got Guy Gardner in it with that totally fresh haircut. Oh, this is definitely how a comic book starts strong, I guess. And he's just wondering what's going on with Superman. Are these the real Supermen? And then the Eradicator Superman finds this guy cracking this safe in the Metropolis Mercantile Bank, established 1875, if you didn't know. I'm nonviolent. I don't carry a gun. I've never hurt anyone in my life. You wouldn't kill a guy just for cracking a safe, would you? Whoomp! You may not have caused physical harm, but your crimes have hurt many people. Please, don't kill me. I won't, but I will make certain that you don't try this again. What are you? No, not that, ah, my hands! Poor man. I've never seen anything like it, Ms. Lane. Every bone from his fingertips to his elbows was broken, almost crushed in some cases. Any worse, and we'd have had to amputate. He'll be in rehab for months before he's even able to hold a cup again. And he claims that Superman did this to him? He said little else. I could almost believe him, Miss Lane. His arms bore deep bruises. They formed handprints.
Doctor, at least 4 superpowered beings have recently claimed to be the late Superman. Could I ask your patient some questions?
No, it was him. He wore sunglasses, big ones, like a visor.
A visor? Oh my goodness. Meanwhile, Superboy's on TV, soaking in the popularity. Is that Clark? Oh no, you're just an old man. I thought you were Clark because you were wearing a hat and glasses.
Okay. Antarctica. I feel exhilarated. Lives have been saved. Evil has been punished. By now, the people must know that they again have a Superman on whom they can depend. It has been a good beginning. In spite of my encounter with Lois, that was troubling. I felt a disturbing emptiness upon leaving her. Echoes, no doubt, of my experiences from my previous life. I must not let such events deter me. There's too much to be done yet. Thank the Creator, I can retire to this fine fortress and plan my next move. Units, attend me.
Yes, sir. As you wish. Pardon, sir. Do you wish to change?
Not as yet, Unit 3. What's the status of the new monitor array?
Online and receiving, sir.
Hey, Metropolis, if you've got a problem, I'm your man. Believe it.
What in Krypton's name is this?
Your new monitor array, sir.
I can see that. I was referring to those scenes being broadcast. Who are these others that dare wear the emblem of Superman?
Their origins are unknown to us, sir.
They're a motley group. A boy who could almost be a younger version of myself from the looks of him. A cyborg and an armored man or robot, perhaps? Unit 12, continue monitoring and compile all available data on these pretenders. I would know more. But for now, I must go and bask in the energies of the regeneration matrix. More power! I must draw more power from the matrix if I am to endure. What does all this mean? Who are these false supermen? If there's villainy in their motives.
Sir, you have been working very hard and you have not been long revived. It would be counterproductive to overexert yourself so soon. You should rest.
Perhaps you're right, Unit 3. Yes, I must conserve myself for the challenges that lie ahead.
And meanwhile, in City Hall, they're all upset about everything that's going on because the city's going into ruins without Superman, but they got the 4 Supermen, but they're destroying stuff.
Hey, look, a fire. I'm gonna fix that fire. Hey, look who shows up. It's Guy Gardner. I want to fight you.
I'm gonna turn into a Yellow Knight for some stupid reason. I'm gonna fight you. This is a good issue. We're gonna get to that one here in a minute.
Hey, let's fight. Guns. Boom. I'm fighting.
What? No way. You can't be. Oh, wait. Whoa, wait. Hey. Take it easy. Look. You got every right to be mad, but hear me out, okay? I'm sorry I bushwhacked you, but I had to know.
Know what?
Know if you were really Superman. And let me tell you, from what I just saw, you're sure as heck the Superman I want to have around.
I don't believe this.
No lie, Blue. I thought we'd seen the last of you after Doomsday. It's good to have you back kicking butt. Really did a number on those creeps. I never knew you had it in you. I mean, you never used to be so, I don't know, aggressive? Were you holding back all those years or something?
Holding back? Perhaps. I have been through many changes.
Yeah, I guess dying and coming back would make you see things differently. Hey, lucky thing I came crashing in on these hoods, huh?
Luck had nothing to do with it. I'd noticed something suspicious about this place earlier.
You mean you threw me over here deliberately? That was brilliant. You are definitely the man. This sure makes things easier. Now I only have 3 phonies to chase down.
Gardner, I don't want you chasing down anyone or anything in my city. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, sure, yeah, I get you. You want to nail those fakes yourself, right? Sorry, Soups, I can be a real cement head sometimes.
Indeed. Oh, and Gardner, the name is Superman, not Soups.
Whatever you say, big guy. Just keep up the good work. I'll square things here with the cops.
Superman has been beating people up like crazy.
Hey, I like it.
Cement Head doesn't begin to do him justice.
Sir, do you wish to change?
What? Oh, you mean, yes, I believe I shall. This shield has long stood for justice. If too many claim it, misuse it, what will it stand for then? Until this moment, my actions felt absolutely right. But I did let my anger at Gardner get the better of me. I took it out on those less capable of defending themselves, and now Gardner cheers me on. That alone is reason to reflect, to question what I've done. Perhaps there is a better way.
Perhaps there is, but we'll never know. Let us continue our journey through the reign of the Supermen as Iron John takes on the Metropolis Kid in a title bout. This issue was a little bit better, you know. Maybe it's just because I like Steel so much. I think he's one of the coolest looking characters ever invented. Now Lex Jr. has gotten this lovely perm here, a lovely perm. And so he's ready to get out on the town and meet some people, but mainly he wants to meet one of these Supermen so he can hire them and have them work for LexCorp. And here we have rising criminal mastermind, the White Rabbit, who actually I think after she was done with her life of crime, I'm pretty sure she became the pop star Pink. I think so. You might want to check that out on Wikipedia to make sure, though. Despite the problems John Henry Irons, a.k.a. Henry Johnson, has made for us, I need to talk to him. Can I bring you to him, Bunny? So she's got this chubby cuck who subscribes to her OnlyFans, and he paid the most money, so he's allowed to be around her for a day. Actually, you know who? Now that I'm thinking about it, this might be Booster Kiwi, and this might be the Unbreathable Skunk Girl. If you don't know the Unbreathable Skunk Girl by my good friend Manuel Correa, check it out, Good Dog Press, here on YouTube. An enjoyable indie comic from Hawaii's favorite son.
Can I bring him to you, Bunny?
That's very thoughtful of you, Graham. But let's let Digit handle it, shall we? Digit, remove the security blocks on this place. Let's make it easy for John Irons, man of steel, to find us here.
And there's some drama going on with Lois and Jimmy and the ponytail guy who I cannot stand. This is Jeb. Ugh. And Superman shows up, you know, he's trying to get some more fame there from Kyle, News Chopper.
Hey, I got you, baby. I'm gonna save you. Hey, what are you doing, punk? You almost destroyed the chopper, baby. I'm gonna go take care of business. No, Lex, I ain't interested.
Why, John Henry Irons, as I live and breathe.
Angora.
You were expecting a bunny with ears and a tail? Surely, darling, this can't be a surprise to you.
I kept telling myself it couldn't be possible. You're selling my BG-80s on the streets.
The BG-80s are the big guns that these guys are using here. He wants to get them off the streets because he's the creator of them, as we're about to find out.
BG-80s? Why, John Henry Irons, don't you know half the romance of a product is in the name? They pay more for Toastmasters, darling. Believe me, a bloody fortune. And for old time's sake, I'm willing to share the profits. After all, you invented the things. Say 80-20 after expenses. Fair's fair. After all, I have to create marketing plans, find new customers, provide the product, while your job's already done.
Dr. Angora Lappin. Meet Dr. John Henry Irons, our resident ballistics genius. Irons' designs for Western weapons technologies are revolutionary. Angora's expertise is in computer imaging, John.
I'm sure you two will work well together. The weapons used against the Kurdish rebels do seem to have been BG-60s.
But the design was completed for our military. What are they doing in Karak? Make sure, Dr. Irons. Dr. Lappin will be in charge while you're away. Some of these victims are innocent women and children. Unfortunate byproduct of war, son. We'll find out how the BG-60s got out, of course. But they've had their field tests now, and they're effective, son. Very effective. No, I thought we'd had something between us, Angora. I told you what I found in Karak. You know why I destroyed the prototypes, why I dropped out of sight.
You had a more advanced design on your computer, the BG-80s.
Up till Karak, I hadn't really understood what I was doing. Maybe I didn't want to understand. I made too good a living. Bought Mom that house in Florida where I knew she'd be safe. My interest in weapons had been theoretical, but Karak changed all that. By creating BG-60s, I'd arm the murderers of innocents. I'd become like the people who killed my grandparents.
You had to know there was no real way to control the manufacture and use of the weapons you created.
You retrieved the plans from my computer, didn't you?
Child's play. I even improved on the designs, just a little.
You supplied the guns to Karak.
Me? I'd never have done that to you, darling. But it gave me the idea for all of this.
Makes a good bedtime story, Angora. Maybe you'd like to tell it to the feds.
You're adamant, aren't you, John? A pity, but I'm afraid you'll have to die after all.
Wham! Scram! Something hit that tanker truck.
Oh, that white-haired woman blew him out the window. He's gonna fry. I gotta save him. Yeah! Ooh, hot, 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 hot.
You saved me, boy. Let's go. Let's get him.
And Lex gets filled in on the plot here. John Henry Irons, a weapons designer, wanted by the feds? Good. That gives me the information I'll need to control him. Because whether it's Steel or one of the others, Metropolis's next Superman will answer to me. Bum, bum, bum! Will he? Will he really, Lex? I don't know. So I'm going to skip ahead. We did, this is, they categorized this with these convenient little upside down triangles. This is 1993, number 17. This was 16, 17. I'm skipping 18 to do 19, but we're going to come back to 18 because it was so phenomenal. By Barbara Kessel. And this one is really about, Superboy trying to get himself some attention, and she's helping out, right? Was that high school stunt really necessary, Superman? Or were you trying to impress me? I was chest choking. I mean, just joking. Well, Lex would really like it if you joined us for dinner. Oh, dinner. Okay, that sounds great. And then Paulie Dangerously, better known to WWE fans as Paul Heyman, he hires this guy. This is the Stinger. WCW Sting right here. This is the Stinger. And hires him to go after Superboy, but the plot is going to thicken there. So, Lex got his leg broken. I don't know why his leg's broken. But we're having a lovely candlelit dinner here where they convince Superboy to come work for LexCorp. And one of the added benefits is you get to work with me all the time, night and day. Oh boy, that sounds awesome. So it takes off.
There's been a housing shortage since Doomsday's rampage, so when I read Clark Kent was presumed dead, my first thought was his apartment's available.
What? This is like my place now? Too cool. I mean, it's not exactly what I would have picked, but it feels right. Thanks, Vinny.
Don't thank me. GBS isn't picking up this tab. See, our close working relationship could possibly be misconstrued as a small conflict of interests. So I think an impartial third party should manage your affairs. Which is where my close personal friend Rex Leach comes in here. So Paulie Dangerously comes in here. Superman, my man, the man. 2 words, Rockefeller. That's who I'm going to make you as rich as. Why? Because that's what you're going to make me. Just a joke.
But I told you, I told Lex.
Rex, the name's Rex.
And this is my lovely daughter, Roxy.
It's him. It's really him. Oh, he's cuter than Bon Jovi, Luke Perry, and Robin put together.
Who's Robin? I don't remember a Robin in the 90s. I do remember Bon Jovi and Luke Perry. Before you get too well acquainted, I'll need your John Hancock son.
Sorry, Rex. He's just such the stud muffin.
Oh, okay. Well, where do I sign?
My man. Now, first, we got to get you trademarked. No problem there. I got favors owed me. Then we issue cease and desist orders on those other super phonies.
What? This farce has gone on long enough.
Drop it, Tana. No one's gonna hurt the kid.
No one's looking out for him either. You're using him, Vinny. Simply following your lead, my dear. So this is basically like the story of how WWE contracts new wrestlers. Or can he only be twisted around your finger to further your career? Which reminds me, take 2 copters with you tomorrow. I think it'll be a big news day. Big news? You've arranged for someone to attack Superman, haven't you? Like you said the other night. That's going too far, Mr. Edge. I won't do it. Perhaps I misjudged you, Tana, but you still have a lot to learn. The kid brings in the ratings. You are replaceable. Get it done, baby. So Superboy is transporting the engine of the legendary Metgo Railroad. Destination, the Metropolis Museum of Science, where the new exhibit, more powerful than a locomotive, opens today. Hey, I'm just flying and whoa, all hell breaks loose. What's going on here? Everything's getting crazy. Hey, it's the Stinger. He's gonna give him the Scorpion Death Drop. Puts him in the Scorpion Deathlock, shoots him with the Scorpion Death Drop. Superman's recovered. He's launching a new attack. Hey, this is better than Monday Night Football. Drink to that. Crying shame it ain't the real Soups. 10-4, buddy. That's Cyborg. Now that's not Superman. Clayton's pal, come on. Everyone knows Soups is 100% Republican. What a maroon. Why I oughta bang the visor guy, the mother kid, blah blah blah. Boosh. Turn on the fire hose. Listen up, you yahoos, and listen good. I knew Superman. Superman was a pal of mine. And none of these fancy pants is Superman in my book. Sure, Bibbo. Whatever you say. Yeah, I mean, this is your place. Drink to that. Yip, yip, yip. And then, of course, you know, he's trying to hit him with that Scorpion Deathlock right there. Can't quite get it, but then he gets the Scorpion Death Drop on him. Superman, can you hear me? He's got, I'm Superman, bam! And then, you know, they fight, and they fight. And then, of course, the bridge is going to just self-destruct. Anyway, near Saturn, an alien ship comes out of hyperspace. Its computers run a routine systems check. All systems go. All weapons primed and fully functional. The ship will reach its target in less than 3 days. And then, it's war. So, now we get into one of the best comic books made. Now, if you are one of the Crypto Knights here who've been around for a while, you know that I like some more offbeat stories. I like it when you take a superhero or a supervillain and you tell a story that is unexpected, that doesn't have to do with just a bunch of fighting and everything. And this is it. This is extremely good. This is a very superb issue of Superman. We're going to get into it. It's by Dan Jurgens and Brett Breeding. Prove it. Think about it. If you're one of those who thinks yourself the best, the ultimate, the real thing in whatever you do, consider yourself lucky if you're never asked to prove it. Only a select few have ever done so. Lincoln proved his greatness by holding together a nation, torn by war and by freeing men not acknowledged as equals. Martin Luther King did it by asking an entire nation to look in the mirror and take shame in the ugly reflection of bigotry. Joe DiMaggio swung the bat better than anyone else, and Superman did it by being, well, super. And the man I want to talk about, the man I would prove myself to if he were still alive, is the reporter who did it all, the best, Clark Kent. Readers of this paper, The Daily Planet, have been familiar with Kent's extraordinary work for years, writing about economics, pollution, justice, crime, education, politics, and the human condition. Kent's brilliance touched us all. I marveled at Mr. Kent's clarity of vision and evidence of sound reason. I admired the man, his work, and the way he lived his life. Clark Kent died while covering Doomsday's rampage through Metropolis. As a result, those who cared for him, Jonathan and Martha Kent, his parents, Lois Lane, his fiancée, Perry White, Jimmy Olsen, Lana Lang, Pete Ross, and this writer, were gathered to pack up his belongings and close down his apartment. As an investigative reporter, Clark Kent delivered some of the hardest-hitting pieces Metropolis has ever seen. He was also a well-received novelist with 3 books under his belt. Standing in his apartment, in the midst of his friends, works, and awards, I suddenly realized how much we had lost with his passing. The Daily Planet was missing one hell of a writer. Clark Kent was the kind of writer I desperately wanted to be. It may have been morbid to approach Mr. White under those circumstances, but the surroundings were absolutely inspiring. The realization of the hard work necessary to match half of Kent's accomplishments was quite evident. But somebody had to fill his slot, and I knew I wanted to be that somebody. I had to ask. Perry White, a close friend of Clark's, could have been angry. Asking for a departed man's job while packing up his belongings might easily be considered crass and opportunistic. But Perry White recognizes and values hungry reporters. He told me how Clark Kent, a novice right off the street, came in with the exclusive on Superman after the Man of Steel had first arrived in Metropolis. Perry White challenged me to bring him a story so big he couldn't turn it down, a story so powerful and important that even Clark Kent would have been impressed. If you think you're good enough to fill Clark's shoes, you've got to back it up, troop. Prove it. Leaving, I felt like a 5-year-old marching off to the first day of school. I had no idea where to begin, but Kent's Superman exclusive was constantly on my mind. Back then, Superman was a great mystery to Metropolis until that story appeared. We had our own mystery to solve. 3 men and a boy, all claiming to be Superman to one degree or another, were trying to replace him much as I was trying to replace Clark Kent. Doubt cast a shadow over all of them, but one in particular, the half-man, half-machine character, offered compelling evidence of being Superman brought back to life. I knew what my story had to be. Now all I had to do was find a way to get it. I made my initial inquiries by calling the Justice League compound, thinking that if anyone had some answers, it might be their civilian liaison, Max Lord. Another civilian, the obsequious Oberon, told me Lord was traveling to Washington to brief the president. If Lord had something to tell our commander-in-chief, he might be able to tell me something as well, so I hopped the first train to D.C. Expecting Lord might want to avoid reporters, I planned to stand outside the White House gates all day and night if necessary. When his limousine pulled up, I coaxed him out of the car for a few questions. Hoping he wouldn't detect my nervousness, I asked Lord about these Supermen. Even then, I had no idea of what was about to happen. What had been a quiet summer day was suddenly shattered by the sounds of chaos as the limousine, which had once carried Max Lord, surged forward, shattering the White House gates. Behind it came a green van filled with armed men bent on assassination, shouting, "For Karak!" The vehicles accelerated, driving as fast as possible until they were stopped by the barricades. Time slowed to a crawl while this happened, and, strange as it sounds, I could only remember something the intrepid Lois Lane once told me. When good reporters find themselves in good situations, they have to use it to their advantage. This was a scoop in the making. All I had to do was survive to tell this story. And what I love is that they've hired Ravishing Rick Rude, and that, you know, you're in trouble when the Karakis have to hire Ravishing Rick Rude to take down the President of the United States. Inside the White House, a team of dedicated security personnel was reacting to the threat with haste and decisiveness. They would later claim that they were caught off guard by the suddenness of the attack, because Lord had visited the White House in that very car many times. What they didn't know is that the Karaki terrorists had replaced the true driver with their own. As the long-range cameras picked up an approaching flying figure, the confusion inside the room worsened. They didn't realize he was about to save us all. The possible answer to the great Superman mystery went into action right before me. This Superman moved so fast and so powerfully that no description will suffice. He was everywhere at once, tearing into the would-be assassins with the ferocity of a mother lion protecting her young. But that proved nothing of his true identity. Despite the suit, the familiar S and the cape, despite the exhibition of powers, questions persisted. Was this Superman back from the dead, or an imposter? Those questions were the least of his worries at the time. More important was his savage dismantling of the terrorists. It might have ended in seconds except for one thing. The White House war room began firing at our savior as well as the attackers. Inside sources tell me that the White House is protected by an impressive array of weapons supplied by LexCorp and Star Labs. The scanning computers, unable to identify him, could only regard him as an intruder in the combat zone and fired on him as well. The irony of the situation stunned Lord and me as we ran for cover in the White House. The man who had come to save the president might die in the process. The White House was not alone in having impressive weapons. The Karaki terrorists obviously knew they'd face formidable odds and brought the firepower to match it. As one of them fired a futuristic bazooka, this Neo-Superman began to change. One arm, seemingly constructed of metal, twisted and reformed into a cannon-like apparatus. Superman fired a blinding burst of energy before the assassin could concentrate his bazooka on the White House, and the matter was resolved. In felling the assassin, our unidentified rescuer did himself more harm than good. Now he was the sole target left, and the White House defense computers focused 100% of their targeting capabilities on him. No man, perhaps not even the original Superman, could withstand such an onslaught. The Secret Service tried desperately to shut down their defense systems, but couldn't. The automatic override kicked in, and only a target with security-cleared identification, such as a Justice League member, could satisfy their criteria. Somebody had to get a genetic tester out to Superman and get proof one way or another. The various agents ordered me not to go, but I ignored them. This Superman deserved his chance to prove himself. Bursts of energy and weapon fire erupted all around as I sprinted like a madman in Superman's direction. It suddenly occurred to me that I had no business doing this, that I was in way over my head. Even more, I knew that laser fire would pick me off like a rubber duck at a carnival shooting range before I could get within 50 feet of Superman. But then a strange situation got even stranger. The very arm that had previously changed into a cannon began to flex and change even more. The metal seemed alive as it slid, shifted, and transformed into yet another configuration. Seconds later, it was a sonic disruptor unit with the power to completely disable the security systems. Finally safe, I could use the identifier. Every single identifying process available indicated that this half-man, half-machine standing in front of me was undoubtedly Superman. The greatest of them all, the man who paid the ultimate price protecting Metropolis, Superman, was rebuilt, alive, and well. He strode toward the White House with the determination, confidence, and aura only a true hero could muster. His commanding presence left them in awe. Even Max Lord, who lives in the midst of heroes, was speechless. But Superman was all business, telling us the terrorist attack might not be over, and a thorough security check was needed. He wanted to access the White House computers, which, in turn, could tap into virtually every computer system in the world. The bizarre metallic portions of Superman's body came to life once more, and he integrated himself with the system. I could no longer see where the man ended and the machine began, as he actually grew cables and unearthly devices that melded with the White House computers. In the midst of my joy at seeing this great American hero alive again, I suddenly found myself slightly uncomfortable and a little scared. None of us know what he saw or how a human actually talked with the computers, but looking at him, I had the feeling he was seeing the secrets of the universe. Staffers tell me the White House systems connect with all military branches, federal agencies, and worldwide governments, as well as numerous civilian systems. If he was able to network all of them, it's quite possible that Superman now has the single largest database of information ever assembled. In those few seconds, he tracked a news article about some plastique stolen from LexCorp, credit card charges for rented storage lockers, a limousine rental, and briefcase purchase that enabled him to become our savior once again. As this new Superman disconnected from the security system, he looked over in Max Lord's direction with a cold, hard expression. He stared at Lord's briefcase, as though he was looking right through it, and then that unique jeweled eye of his began glowing. Before Lord could object, Superman's scarlet burst of heat vision melted his entire briefcase on the spot. Superman, speaking a metallic-sounding monotone voice, told us that the terrorists bought a briefcase identical to Lord's, put a bomb inside it, and switched it while Lord got in the limousine at the airport. They knew their brazen attack might not succeed, and also knew Lord would eventually get close to the president. Even though they would die, Lord would still become their assassin. We were all speechless, all except one, that is. A voice from the entry thanked Superman not only for himself, but for the entire country. It was an historic meeting between two powerful men of the free world. Superman accepted this man's thanks and told him that should he ever need his services, he merely had to contact him on a special device. Superman actually seemed to construct it, even grow it, on the spot. He handed it over, saying it was a personal communications device, something he'd never given any president in the past. With that, President William Jefferson Clinton accepted the device and acknowledged this man of steel as the one true Superman. It was an impressive and touching sight, for this president had spoken so eloquently at Superman's memorial service not long ago. Now they were meeting as friends, with Superman proving himself the real thing, the greatest of all. It's inexplicable, but Superman has come back to life. It seems beyond our understanding. but so were the rumors years ago of a hero from a planet called Krypton. Fortunately, a young writer named Clark Kent proved himself by bringing us the truth. Superman has returned, proving himself to us all over again. Clark Kent cannot return, so others must take his place and prove themselves deserving and equal. It's a daunting task, but well worth the effort. Those evaluations are up to you. Wake up, Ronald. It's morning. Oh, Mr. White. I'm really sorry about this. I was working so late that I, Say no more, Ronald. Your story here shows you only filed it a few hours ago. Care to talk about it? I gave it everything I had, Mr. White. I hope it's up to your standards. You were on the scene of a presidential assassination attempt, son. That's a scoop by anybody's standards. A few years ago, a young reporter came to me out of the blue and dropped a page one scoop in my lap. I think history has repeated itself. You have quite a name to live up to, Ronald. Congratulations. I'll give you everything I've got, Mr. White. 100%.
Superman is back. Bum bum bum. Story by Ronald Troop.
Phenomenal book. Great way to end this video in our continued journey through the reign of the Supermen. If you're looking for another totally awesome journey to go on, it's not about Supermen. It's about a group of kids living in a fantastical world where their parents are kidnapped by an evil necromancer and a wicked witch queen. And it's written by yours truly. It's called The Young Barbarians. It's available on Amazon right now in digital and print form. While you're there, check out some other books from the Lost Library like The Gaslight Gang, Curse of the Grey Gargoyle, and Destination Genesis. I got more to come though. I've got more. I got another book coming out next month. So get ready for that. And get ready for our continued journey through DC Comics' Reign of the Supermen as we discover the death and return of Superman right here on Crypto Comics.